We're live. What's up, Guardians?
Hey, hello.
Welcome to the 75th episode of Huffy's Not Here.
Yep. Huffy is yet again on another CIA classified extraction mission. Uh, he won't tell us anything. He hates us. He doesn't want to be
He,
here.
he probably shouldn't have
Um,
even told us that that's what he was doing, you know?
no,
And
he
he's
fucked up,
smart.
dude. He should have known we talk about everything. So it's whatever.
Keeps trying to get out, and they just keep pulling him back in, you
He
know?
has to stop telling us stuff because every time we say something, it's just another mission pops up. Clearly, he should just shut up. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, he probably is playing Minecraft. That's a good point.
Check the server, Reese. Check the server. Guarantee he's there.
We have a big announcement to make, guys. GuardianCast is going to be putting out a new battle pass this month.
Yep.
For $10. You can buy the battle pass, and we will allow you to hit different milestones, and you can listen to old episodes every time you level up. And
You get a bonus multiplier every time I hit my vape or the dog's bark. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. You guys should be excited for that. Yeah.
Yep, and you can do a free track too, where if you're a free listener, you just have to listen to like 15 ads in a row, and then you get access to the content. So
Yeah. Pretty rad. Also, OnlyFans is a thing. We're on there selling feet pics, dude.
Right.
You asked for it, you got it.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a jab. If you've been living under a rock, Destiny's getting a battle pass, despite what they want to call it. They don't want to call it a battle pass. They seem to be offended by that terminology, even though that's what it is.
I mean, more or less. Let's be real. It's a battle pass, but it is kind of nice that it's worked into the season that you've bought. So it's not an extra thing on top. So that is nice. So it's not technically a battle pass. It's a from what I've understood
Well,
from
it is
reading
because
things.
because going forward, the season you're buying,
Mhm.
and the DLC content is going to be going away at the end of the season now.
Correct. I guess in a sense, yeah, true.
So that content, it's not like similar to the Forges where it just hangs around. They're saying now, as we've talked about many times now on this podcast, that the game's getting too big, 160 gigabytes or whatever, and they're going to start removing content while they're adding it. And what they're saying in this newest blog post by Luke Smith is that new content added in these seasons will be removed at the end of the season. They'll tell a story, and then it'll conclude and it'll go away. They're saying, perhaps it'll come back if it's really popular at some point, but just be ready to, like, if you pay for that content, play it during the season, because it's going to be hey, you have to be here during this time type of thing.
But you do have the option not to buy the content too, which is
That's true.
nice.
You can do it
I
a la
mean, it
carte.
is. Yeah, it is nice. If you don't see yourself playing for 6 to 7 weeks, don't spend the $10, and it
Right.
is nice that you're able to pay for content that you want to play rather than content you don't want to play or you're not going to have the time to play, like buying a season pass. So that is nice.
So let's talk about the different options. Like, basically, this a la carte thing is new. Like last year, obviously, you had to buy the whole season pass for $35. I think that was the amount, right?
35 to 40, yeah, somewhere around there.
35, I think, and it was 3 seasons. It was Black Armory, Joker's Wild, and Penumbra or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Season opulence.
right, that's what you got last year or this year. This upcoming year, the way it's going to work is $10 for each season. And the confusing thing about this is there's 4 seasons this time. But the Shadowkeep one, there's one dropping in Shadowkeep, which you can buy the season for $10, but if you buy Shadowkeep, it's already included.
Correct.
So, like, if you wanted to just participate in the season but not have access to Shadowkeep, then you would buy that for $10. But that seems like a weird thing to me. I don't think there's gonna be many people who do that.
It's actually kind of dumb to not do that because you're when you buy Shadowkeep, you get the season for free. So technically, even if you buy the base version of Shadowkeep,
Right.
that makes Shadowkeep what, $20, right?
Right.
So it would be silly not to buy them bundled,
No, what I'm
because you
saying
also get
is
more content with Shadowkeep.
I don't think that there is going to be almost anybody who doesn't buy Shadowkeep but spends $10 for the season
I would assume maybe someone coming in midway through the season
on the
during
new
the
light
free
thing.
version.
On the
Exactly, yeah.
yeah,
Because with new light, you get access to the moon. You
right,
get you more or less get access to the entire game, like every location, all of that stuff. You don't
right,
get access to the activities within those particular DLCs.
yeah,
So you can't do Last Wish with the free version. Like you can go to the Dreaming City, but you can't do Last Wish. You
right,
can go to the moon, but you can't do Shadowkeep stuff. You can participate in everything more or less except for the stuff you don't buy into, which realistically makes sense. If you don't want to play those things, you don't have to pay for it. You can play Destiny 2 for free, for fucking free.
yeah,
You have the access to that free route of stuff, which yes, you have to play a lot more to get, an exotic weapon. They were saying like what, 35 ranks, I think, for to get the exotic weapon for if you bought into the content, you get it
yeah.
quicker, which makes sense because you are paying them for that content that you are consuming and saying, yes, I want to consume this in this manner. So
Um,
it is
uh,
nice. I think that's kind of smart.
there is so much here, and like I don't know how we're just gonna have to talk about these things as they come out, I
Bullet
guess. But
pointed,
like
really. Yeah.
the thing you just mentioned, I want to talk about that for a second. So
Okay.
specifically, the exotic we're talking about, it's the hand cannon that acts
The
like a
sniper hand
sniper.
cannon thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they say that if you buy the season pass, that
Hmm.
you'll get that at rank 1 of the season pass, and if you don't buy it, then you'll get it at rank 35. Um, Look, for the people on the free track, it makes perfect sense because this is them getting access to content they didn't even pay for, so it's a net
Yeah.
positive. I'm fine with that. What I don't like is, as a paying customer, I don't actually just want that handed to me for like nothing. You know, what I mean, like I
That's
don't
fair.
feel good about just like paying and then getting an exotic for free and doing nothing in game to earn it. That really takes the fun out of it for me. So I
I can
don't
see that.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't like that, and it's gonna feel super weird, and I hope that maybe they change that in the next season pass. Nothing like cosmetics, fine, but nothing like an exotic for just buying it like right off the bat. I think that's kind of silly.
No, and I completely agree with that. With exotic weapons, we should have some sort of quest or path or something other than just accessing something, right?
Mhm.
But I think in their mind, if I'm going to play devil's advocate like I like to do, I think in their mind it's kind of a, hey, you're still interested in Destiny, you really like Destiny. Here's something as like a gift, just it's more of a promotional thing. I think down the line, if enough people are vocal about the fact that you're just giving away exotics, they will change that. They know how much we enjoy exotic quests. They know how much we enjoy working for something. That's why they've clearly come up with this pass system, because they know how much we want this grind.
Mm.
So I think it may have been a more of a publicity kind of misstep on their part, and they put. I'd assume if we're all vocal enough, they'll fix that. They're very open to wanting to do better the next season every time. So
So Wits asks, isn't it access to a quest? That would actually be a perfect solution, I think, in my opinion, but I don't
the
think
way they
that's what
worded
they're
it,
doing. It does based on how they worded it. It
yeah,
says in the information about the new season pass, a new exotic hand cannon, Ariana's Vow, awarded on rank 35 of the free track, awarded on rank 1 of the premium track. To
it
me,
would be
it
nice
doesn't
if they award us
say
a quest.
right. It
Yes.
doesn't say a new exotic hand cannon quest. It says a new exotic hand cannon, and it says awarded. So I think you're just getting it straight up. Like there's no
Yeah.
quest.
I hope that isn't true. I hope there is a quest for it, but it we'll see in October.
Now, on the other hand, the bow,
Hmm.
Leviathan's Breath, is exclusive to season pass owners, and it says a new weapon quest.
Right. Which
So
makes sense.
so I'm gonna actually say it based on the fact they used the wording for the bow as quest that the hand cannon is almost guaranteed to not be a quest. I can't imagine they
Right.
would say quest for one thing and not for the other. I I can't see there being
To
a
be fair,
quest.
during Destiny 2 Vanilla, they did give us, at certain points during the story, they gave us the option to take an exotic weapon. We didn't have to quest those. We didn't have, they were just given to us.
Well,
So
but
maybe
you
this is
played the
kind of
campaign.
similar. Right. Well, you're gonna have to play to rank 1 to get it, right? So it's not much different than getting a
I don't
graviton
know. I
lance.
guess it's going to depend what rank one means, but I can't imagine it's more than like less than an
It's
hour
probably a
play.
couple hours. Yeah,
I think the
it's
Dado video, he said, I think he like took the quote from a Q&A or something like that on Reddit, and he said that if you're playing strikes and you take 18 minutes on average to finish a strike, which is extremely
mm,
long, that
yeah,
you will get one seasonal rank per hour.
yeah, sounds right.
So,
It's really what they've done is they've taken that path of stuff that used to be bright engrams and they've changed it into this battle pass.
mhm.
So instead of giving us bright engrams, they're giving us this battle pass, which makes sense. I get enough sense, I guess.
Yeah. So there's actually, I just closed it by accident, but there's a little infographic here in this blog post about the battle pass, and there's just thumbnails we can kind of see. So just to give you guys an idea of what's going to be in it, there is some cosmetics and there's some things that actually affect gameplay. So you're going to get things like legendary shards, glimmer. There's an exotic. Um, in there. Just it's an exotic engram. I'm guessing that's the bow quest at rank 25. There is armor ornaments. There is like basically an Eververse package. There's these two materials I haven't seen before.
From what I
And,
understand, those are going to be basically free infusion kind of materials.
right. Um, and then there's two like bright engrams, and then there's a weapon. There's a weapon at level 30. So there is a mix of cosmetic and uh gameplay
But it's
affecting
nothing you can
things.
earn in game as you play, anyways. So it's not really. It, it seems kind of like a mute point because you're already going to be earning exotic engrams. You're already going to be inserting, earning legendary shards, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
just
if
little
that exotic
bonuses.
engram is a random exotic.
I think it's a random exotic. There's no reason they would just throw an exotic engram icon and not be an engram. You know what I mean? It seems kind of
Mm.
silly.
And so like basically if you're looking at this infographic, from what I understand, the top is the free track and the bottom is the premium track. And bright dust in there as well. So
Right, and
that's
you're going to be able to buy stuff from Eververse with Bright Dust. So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm totally fine with the cosmetics. I think that a lot of this stuff is like weird to be in here. I just think that like the
To be
legendary
fair, they're
shards and the glimmer, it's kind of a weird fit.
right. I mean, they did say that they are trialing this. They're testing it out, seeing if we enjoy it. And I can guarantee if we make notes of what we don't enjoy about it or what they could do better, the next season they'll try to implement that. They've said it. They're trying to make out good on their word.
Mm.
So
So
whether
I'm
they
gonna
do or not,
I'm gonna
questionable. Yeah.
go the other way on this. A lot of people are positive about this. Whit seems excited about it in chat. It seems like you're mostly positive about this.
Yeah, more or
Um,
less.
I'd say like number one, I'll acknowledge this style of monetization works. Obviously, a lot of games use it and it seems to be successful. But I don't like it. I just like transparency in like what I'm spending money on, and I don't really like it to affect gameplay. I've said many times I
This is
prefer.
included in the season though. It's not, you're not spending any money on it that you're not already spending. It's not extra at all.
No,
It's included.
I understand. I don't like. the monetization being tied to like in-game achievements and stuff like that. I like paying for content just straight up. This is the content you get for this. You know what I mean?
It's not content, it's bonuses. It's not even
That's what I'm
content.
saying. That's what I don't like those two things being connected.
I fair, but I think you're lumping like a battle pass for like Fortnite or
Yeah,
those are completely you're paying for that. This
right.
isn't that at all. This is
This is
included
actually
into a
worse
system.
because those are just cosmetic items in those games. There's no like progression related things at all.
I mean, kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, those types of games aren't meant for progression, right?
That's
And
my
and
point.
those things aren't really well. None of that stuff is really helping you progress in any way that you wouldn't
This
already be doing by
stuff,
playing for 3 hours.
it's helping you progress faster. I mean, come on. You can say you're a
What is a
fan of this.
legendary shard? What is a legendary shard going to do to help you progress?
It helps you infuse more things and progress your armor. And I mean,
Right, but you're already getting those things from deleting garbage items
but
anyways.
not as much.
How can you say that we're getting that much from this though?
And then you're talking about random exotics and stuff. Look, I'm not saying you can't be a fan of this. I'm just saying this is my objection to it.
Fair. No, that's fair.
I
Yeah.
don't like gameplay being tied to the monetization path. And like I've said many times, I'm fine with paying for content in video games and Destiny. Like I even prefer like more traditional styles of monetization, like subscription fees. You know, I'd be totally okay with paying that. I know it's a dated method. A lot of people don't like it, but
Okay.
that's where
So
I'm at with
question.
it. Yeah.
Question. If you were to pay a subscription fee, right?
Yep.
And as a bonus, they gave you this kind of pass, would you be upset then?
Yeah. I mean, that's not what I like. I don't want this stuff attached to it at all, is what I'm
Fair.
saying.
Okay.
You know, I just want them to produce content because here's the problem with this. Once you start making money from this kind of thing, you know where the incentives lie, and your development time goes into developing this and the monetization and how to better incentivize people to buy this stuff.
I personally just see this as a way to replace Bright Ingrams. That's it. I don't see anything else from this
Hmm.
because it just doesn't make any sense to me for it to not be that. It doesn't seem like this is a big draw. It doesn't seem like this is something that it just seems such like a weird kind of afterthought on their part to replace Brett Ingrams. That's it. That's all I'm seeing from this. I can see where you're coming from with it seeming like a monetization. We're going to put more effort into this thing. I feel like this is an afterthought. I feel like this was something they kind of rushed together because oh shit, we're getting rid of Brett Ingrams. What are
Oh
we going to
no,
do?
come on. This is definitely like very thought out, very intentional. It's confusing. I'll definitely say
I
it's
think the
confusing.
confusiness leads to my theory of it being
Yeah.
an afterthought.
I I don't think so. And actually, I'd just like to point out there's like some irony in this because they separated from Activision and then they go with like a more gimmicky form of monetization that like if this came out we would totally be when they were still with Activision we'd be like, "Oh, Activision must be forcing them to do this," you know?
Maybe it's something they thought of that Activision actually didn't want them to
No
do. You know,
way. There's
maybe
so many of these kind of monetization paths in Activision games. They're like famous for like forcing this kind of stuff into games. So I just think it's kind of funny that Bungie breaks from Activision and then goes with this style of monetization. You know, like
I'm just finding it hard to call that even monetization because you're not paying for that separately. It's included into buying the pass of the season of the content you're getting. It
right.
feels like an addition, an afterthought almost. It doesn't feel like they're purposely making this why you want to spend money. It has it to me. I don't see
On
that.
a
It doesn't make any
player
sense that
like
way.
us, it doesn't make any difference because we would have spent money anyway. But I think there's a lot of people who played Forsaken who took a look at the annual pass and said, that's not worth it. And they put this out there and they say, hey, look, you don't have to buy into the whole year. You can jump in for this season, and we'll give you some of this extra stuff. And I think that's appealing to like that style of player. Like if they want to keep playing, they can try it out for a season and then they can put it down if they want to. They don't have to feel committed to something. That's what this is all about.
But it just doesn't seem like they're pushing the pass as much as they are the content itself though that is attached to the the pass is attached to.
No, I think it does because you still get access to a lot of that content. There's like a few, like he mentions that there's like select activities you won't have access to. That's only
Like,
premium.
right,
But
but you get more of the free stuff. Like you get a taste in the
right,
free stuff, and then you if you buy the entire, content, you actually get more of the
right.
taste.
So
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 I
this
don't
is
know, seems.
majority of the pull is this battle pass thing for buying the content.
I don't. I maybe I play the game too much to really see a problem with it. I don't know.
Well, I think you'll see a
I
problem with it if you find out that there's not that much content and that this is majority of what you're buying into.
eh, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's hard to kind of speculate until we
Well, I
really
mean,
see it in action.
let's just look at what they've said though. Like they said in the director's cut, Luke Smith said that the annual pass this year was unsustainable and
Right,
that
because they gave us activities that we didn't want to go back and do. So that's why they're giving us activities that'll eventually go away. I think that's what they meant because it wasn't sustainable to have these activities put into the game, taking up space, memory,
that's not what he was
time.
talking about though. He was talking about how much um, developer resources and time spent developing the annual pass. He was
Maybe
saying
because they
that
put more thought into making these long-term
not
activities
not
than they
even
really
thought.
were.
It's just like making the activities, making the content. He had said making content is hard, and that people were having to stay on weekends and late and work overtime to make things happen, and that they want to give the developers more time off and stuff like that. Which, look, I'm sympathetic to the human side of that, but I think that looking at what last year's content and this year's content was, I wasn't impressed with it. So if you're telling me it's going to be even less than that, like I'm not super optimistic about that prospect. I got
That's
to be
fair.
honest, you
I
know.
see the way that it was unsustainable is the fact that they made these activities and they had to put a lot of effort into them, which took time from their sustainability of doing more things because they wanted these to be long-term staying activities. When they realized that that isn't what they were and what they could have been, the forges could have been a thing that existed for exit, like you said in that alternate universe thing. The forges
Hmm.
came, they left, then the weapons were still available in other sources, right? That
Hmm.
would have made more sense and would have been made more sustainable is what he was getting at. And I think that's what they're trying to do now is give us these one-off things that they don't have to sit there and invest that much more time into making them sustainable long-term activities, which ends up making it more unsustainable for them to do to do other things.
Right. I mean, you could definitely like interpret it how you want, but he definitely explicitly says that it was the time spent developing things and that they just like don't have the resources to spend
Right, because
that
when you're
much
putting
time.
that much time into something that's supposed to be lasting and staying, and people are supposed to want to play more and more and more, it's going to be
But
easier
but
to
the, like
spend
you're
less
you're just
time on an
adding
activity
that
that's
though.
going to
That's
go
not what he was
away.
saying. Like it could have been the best content in the world that everyone loved, and he still would be saying we had too many developers working overtime and spending too much time on this stuff, and we need to achieve a better work-life balance. It has nothing to do with the quality of the content. He was just saying that we're crunching too much. Like
But prior to that, he admitted that the quality of the content was not where it should have been. He
right.
admitted to that.
But
So
but
why
that
would
has
those
not
not
like
be?
these are two separate points though. He like the quality of the content has nothing to do with the fact he's just saying we're crunching too much. We got to scale back the crunch and find a way to make less content so that we don't have to do this. Plus, they don't have
I think
Vicarious
you're reading
Visions
into
and
that
High Moon
far too
Studios.
pessimistically.
No, that's not pessimistic. That's what he said. That's what he said. We have to stop crunching. Like he literally, it's the reason we didn't get the Lord of Wolves fix right away. He said, "Hey, we had to crunch to make the contest modifier. We had to have people stay late and on weekends to make that happen in time. So that's why we can't fix Lord of Wolves for an entire month." Or longer. It ended up being like 2 months because we aren't having people stay to fix that stuff. I mean, I'm not being pessimistic. This is what they're telling us.
I guess I read it differently.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think that we should expect less content this year, just straight up. Not like whether it's
If we
better or
get less
worse. I
content
can't.
than what we had, though, that's not good. That's not doesn't make any sense. We had shit for content with that annual pass. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh my god, I know, but it's gonna be
I,
less. I'm telling you.
I just don't see that. I
That's
don't
what he
know.
said is gonna happen.
I don't know. I'm hopeful. Stop breaking my hopes and dreams.
You are setting yourself up for disappointment. It's gonna be less
Yes, you
content,
do.
Eddie. I'm sorry. It
Don't tell
is.
me this. No, I don't
I
want to
mean, it's
believe it.
better than no content. So, like, that's what we got after the Taken King. It was literally nothing. You know.
Fair.
Um, but yeah, it's gonna be less. I hope that what they do give us is fun. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah.
I can't really speak to whether that's gonna happen. I don't know. This season pass thing is gonna have very little to do with that. Um, but hopefully the content that they actually put out is fun. I here's another bold prediction I'm gonna make, by the way, and I don't know like this for sure. This is just something I'm assuming. Part of this whole like content discussion. I don't think there's gonna be a raid in this annual pass period. I think that we're gonna get a raid with Shadowkeep, and then we're not gonna get another raid until next September.
I feel like you made that same statement when we got before we got Scourge and
No,
Drown
they
though.
told us. They told us that
Oh, true,
like right
true.
away that there was gonna be raids in those.
Then again, they haven't given us a roadmap past this
No, they
season
haven't.
either.
That's why I'm making the
That's
bold
fair. Yeah.
prediction.
I guess we'll see when we get a roadmap or
And
a map.
also, it's
Whatever.
worth noting
Roadmap.
too, like I can't even really trust what they say about this season pass because last year, I mean, I still have the screenshot. They said season pass owners will get to enjoy new Crucible maps and game modes. By the way, they never made
Yeah,
those for the
but
annual
they did also.
pass.
Luke Smith did say that they failed to meet a lot of the promises they made too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know.
Speaking of Crucible maps, and it's a shame Huffy's not here to rant about this, but we're getting two new Crucible maps in Shadowkeep, and they're both just old maps. So
They are solid maps though.
they're
They
solid
are good
maps. I'll give you
maps.
that. I like Widow's Court.
They did pick some of the better maps to bring in, so I'll give them that.
It's gonna be Widow's Court and Twilight Gap. Those are the two maps we're getting. And we're not getting
They were
anything
also
else.
old Trials maps, weren't they, as well? Which is kind of
Well,
interesting.
Twilight Gap was a vanilla map before Trials ever came out.
Fair, okay.
Widow's Court came out with the Taken King, I believe,
Hmm.
which
But
was
they were
after
used
Trials.
during Trials, so
Yeah, they were used in Trials.
could read into that a little bit. I don't know.
I'm very excited for Twilight Gap. I like Widow's Court, but I think I like Twilight Gap better. Either way, I'm just saying it is technically old content, and it's the first maps we've gotten in over a year. They
We're
haven't
getting
made
the
any new
moon, dude.
maps
We're
at
not even
all.
getting a new location. They're leaning into this old content thing,
Yeah.
and I think either we accept it and accept what they're giving us, or we just don't play the game. You know, they're Borderlands is coming out. I don't know.
I I just would like to see more Crucible maps, and they're
No, I agree. I
not
100%
making them.
agree.
Also, two new strikes, but they're not they're not repurposed strikes. I don't think. Not from what I saw.
They're
They just
reimagined or reworked, I
really.
believe. I believe because if you notice in a lot of the promotional material, they have that big ogre fight from that one on the moon. I forget what it's called, but I believe at least
Fogoth.
that one, Fogoth. Yes, I believe at least that one is a reworked, reimagined one. But I
Really?
think the other one might not be.
I
So
figured that Fogoth thing was one of those nightmare runs or
that
whatever.
feels like you're being a little bit more optimistic on that one. I really
Why?
think it's just a rework because why would they not give us something like that?
Well,
It feels like
I've just been assuming that those nightmare runs are the revisiting of like Omnigul and all of that stuff.
I think those for sure, but I think that particular like Fogoth itself doesn't seem very nightmare-y. It seems like that's going to be a strike because it's in the same location, it's in the same everything. It's not at all. They haven't really showed us any of the nightmare
Well,
fights realistically.
they've showed us Crota, the Fogoth, like you said, and Omnigul, and I
Mhm.
just assumed that the nightmare runs were. I don't know exactly how they work, but I just assumed that killing those old enemies was going to be part of the whole nightmare run thing,
I feel like
whatever
it will
that
be, but
is.
I feel like Fogoth, that strike in general, uh, may possibly, if they rework it a little bit, could work into the narrative of whatever is happening
I mean, it
here.
could be. You could say the same thing about Omnigul. Both of
True,
them could
yeah,
be could be that. I was
but
just
Omnivore is
assuming.
also on Earth too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was just assuming that those old pieces of content that they were saying, like, hey, these people have been resurrected and you have to kill them
Mhm.
again in this new way. I just thought that that had something to do with the nightmare runs. We don't have any information confirming that. They haven't explained what nightmare runs
Yeah,
are, except for showing that there's all these modifiers. You've seen it. We've seen the tooltips of them.
yeah, and then the
Um,
Nightfalls are getting reworked too. Those will be completely different with their modifiers and way to, do heroic type stuff.
yeah. So we'll have to see how that works, but we do know there's two strikes, two Crucible
Mhm.
maps. We know what the Crucible maps are. Not 100% sure what the strikes are yet. So those exist. Also with this like battle pass thing, there was one thing we forgot to talk about, which was in the last 2 to 4 weeks of the season. Luke Smith says that there's gonna be like a purchase that people can make
They're
to
talking about
like
they're
catch up.
thinking about it. They didn't say that they're going to do it. He was putting that out there to get feelers on if people would be interested in that. I think that it's not certain. It's not set in stone, but it's a possibility. The way it's worded, it sounds like they were like, we're thinking about doing this. Please tell us it's a bad idea.
Well, here, I'll just read exactly what he says. Season of the Undying runs for 10 weeks, and we're currently thinking of enabling this somewhere in the last 2 to 4 weeks of the season. To me, that's just like he's saying he's thinking of when to enable it, not so much whether to or not enable it. But then, anyway, he says, we know that sometimes life gets in the way. You just want to get the last few rewards before the season ends and everything resets. In the same way that we've been doing seasonal catch up for Power, we think providing a late in the season rank catch up makes sense. This initial version is our starting point, and the way we've designed seasons moving forward means that we're going to be able to have the flexibility to tune how this works once we see how Season of the Undying goes. I think it
To
is
me, it
going
feels
to
like
happen.
I
Like,
did from what I read into that is, hey, this is a possibility. Do you think it's a good idea? Let us know now before we go too far into it. That's what I see. I don't see them. I think if they were going to do that, they would have said they're going to do that. I don't think he would have said we're thinking about it. It doesn't make sense.
like I said, I think they're just tuning when they want to do it and how much it's going to cost and that kind of stuff. But basically, I don't know if I have a problem with this anyway. I misunderstood what this meant at first. I thought the season ranks and the artifact like levels were the same
No,
thing,
they're completely
but
different.
the season ranks just have to do with these like rewards that you get on the
XP
battle
boosts
pass.
and yeah.
I kind of understand why they want to do this because a lot of the rewards disappear after the season ends. It
And it's
feels
monetization. It's a way for them to bring in money to be able to build us more content, this, that, and the other. Look at the Outbreak Prime thing. That was funded by the ornaments for Whisper of the Worm. I You can't hate their monetization that much if you want more content. They
yeah.
have to be able to pay their workers to give us
Right.
content.
And the best part is that if you bought those ornaments, then they look really good in your vault now because the Whisper of the Worm is
That's
trash.
not the point. The point is, if we don't give them our money, they can't make us content. So if no one pays anything, we're never going to get anything more. And that's the whole cold hard facts of it. Is as much as we don't like how they monetize things or anything like that, if there's not people paying the money to do these things, we're not getting anything. If no one is buying Destiny, we're not getting any more Destiny. Like that's how capitalism works.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's shitty that they're wanting to bring these things in, and it feels like they're wanting our money. But if we want to play the game, they're gonna need our money. I mean, that's how this works.
Yeah, I have no problem giving them money. I just have a problem with how they're asking for it.
Would you rather than just say money
No, I'd
please?
rather them say, "Hey, here is the $35 for Shadow Keep, and then like we're gonna deliver you consistent content for a $5 a month subscription to our game." That would be fine with me, but like that's not something
Maybe
that
they're working their way into it. Maybe this is their
no way.
introductory steps to the
No, no, no,
community
no,
of how.
no. See, the problem is like 13-year-olds are not interested in that style of monetization. They want to take their mom's credit card and say, "Mom, but look at all of these awesome exotics that I get if I sign up for the battle pass. It's gonna be so cool. Hey, I don't even have to play. I can just hop in the last 2 weeks and just get all this stuff."
But I'm not. I can't argue with you that much on there, but like I just feel like we need to wait and see before we get too tilted about the battle pass to see what is actually entailed in all of it.
Did you watch Dado's video about all this stuff?
Who the fuck is Dado?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the video yet. No,
um,
I hadn't had time.
oh man, he seems so defeated. Like he was basically just like, yeah, this is what games are doing now. He goes, this will probably be the beginning of many seasons that'll just get worse from here.
He's usually a pretty optimistic dude. I don't know
Yeah.
why he'd be so down about it. I don't know.
It was pretty it was interesting to watch.
I don't know, man. I want to believe. I want to believe. I don't know. Santa Claus is real. Fuck me, I guess.
Santa Claus is real. Um, the artifact, by the way, we got confirmation that power levels are going to be uncapped. That's going to create an interesting gameplay variety in the sense that we'll get to see like how high people go. From the perspective of PvE content, it's not going to matter up to a certain point because, as you know, once you get a certain level above whatever content you're doing, like getting even higher makes no difference at all. So if you're,
Unless they're making big sandbox changes to make that a thing.
yeah,
They have mentioned there are a lot of sandbox changes they're going to be implementing. They have said nothing about yet.
it's true. I mean, if we're like massively underleveled for certain activities, it could make a difference. Like it would
And if
make
they're
a
wanting us to
difference.
grind this power, they're going to need to give us activities like that.
It would make a difference in something like heroic menagerie, but it's like, all right, so if you're 20 levels under, that's like a big difference right now. So if you're 20 levels over, that would be like the highest that it could make a difference in the current sandbox. So if you
With the
got like
delta scaling, though, it still hurts. It's
if you
still
got like
terrible.
200 levels over, it would not feel any different than 20 levels over. But we'll have to see like where everything lands. I don't see that changing fundamentally. Another interesting question I've seen going around about it is what about Iron Banner? A lot of people are worried that there's going to be some like some people just able to one shot with auto rifles and stuff like that, and people are
I feel
worried.
like
They're like, oh, they better cap this. And you know what? I actually hope they don't because I would actually love to see the game type be different than normal Crucible.
as much as I agree with that, I do 100% agree with that. But playing devil's advocate,
Yeah.
I like the likeliness is they'll have our actual power cap, right? The normal without the
Hmm.
bonus be the standard.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Like they really don't like leaning into that Iron Banner power thing. Um,
Yeah,
but
it
I
would be
just don't know why they
fantastic.
like either have it or don't have it because like right
Right.
now what it feels like is everyone's near 750 and it has no effect on gameplay whatsoever
Just make
unless
everyone tissue paper and call it a day, dude. What's it
yeah,
matter, you know?
yeah.
I don't know. It's just funny to me that that's the only thing PvP wise that is light level enabled. Not
Yeah.
even comp, dude. Not even competitive, where
Well,
you would assume that that would make a difference.
well, it would be kind of weird if it made a difference in competitive, I think.
Why is
Yeah.
it? But isn't Iron Banner a competitive situation where
No.
the light level makes a difference? It's funny to me where they pick and choose where that makes a difference.
Iron Banner's only competitive in the sense that skill-based matchmaking is enabled right now, but other than that, no. It's just quick play. It's like exactly the same.
But then why not give it the same connection as quick play? That doesn't
I
make
don't
sense
I
to
have
me.
no idea because they have
That's what I'm
weird
saying. The picking
philosophies
and
about
choosing is so
things.
fucking weird that
Yeah.
it's silly. I don't know.
It used to be Trials was light level enabled.
And that's what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
that was our competitive standard, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't competitive technically be light level enabled? Like that's how I see it. Is like if trials was and that was the epitome of our competitive, situation, why would
Iron
they not make the competitive playlist the same?
Iron Banner used to be what PvE players were given to feel good about themselves. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's only been like in the beta. In the beta of Destiny 1, they ran an Iron Banner where that was the case and it made a big difference. But then like people complained about it and Bungie just toned back the delta scaling and it seems like they've consistently toned it back. And even in Destiny 1, for most of its life cycle, I was like, what the heck is the point of this game mode? It comes around and it doesn't feel like there's any difference to it whatsoever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. We're in a weird spot, and I want to believe that now that this is their fucking first foray is as we're Bungie, this is our shit. We're gonna own it. I want to believe that it's gonna get better from here. I feel that they know and they are listening to our feedback. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I am interested to see what happens. I'm not gonna
Okay.
say excited. I don't know how to feel about a lot of
I've
this
got a hard
stuff.
on for it. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I'm excited to play Shadowkeep. I'm excited for the raid, and I don't know what's happening after that. That's what I'll say about it.
Fair.
Um, I am going to remain skeptical, and I will probably play it, but I'll probably complain about whatever it is a lot.
Yeah.
But other
Wait,
than
you
that, you guys
complain?
should
You've
go.
never complained about anything. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I have never. You guys should definitely check out the whole blog post if you're interested in like reading about it and getting more information. It's very similar to the last three things Luke Smith wrote, and it's just interesting to read how he kind of thinks about this kind of stuff. And oh yeah, so one last thing with PvP. They have showed us nothing yet. They said there was going to be something before PAX, but Damage put something on Twitter that was like, "Hey, we've already shown most of what's happening. We'll have a couple small things to share with you soon." And it's like, I'm not happy about that. I gotta say, they said this was going to be a PvP focused season. They said they're rebuilding PvP from the ground up. We've been wondering what that means. Apparently, it means nothing. Because the only things that they've shared with us are supers are getting adjusted, thank God, but that's like a small fix that everyone's been asking for over a year. They said that there's, some new game modes coming, some new game modes being trialed. The director and like the playlists are being changed. But that's it. I mean, like, this is not fundamental sandbox changes. They haven't talked about weapon tuning at all. And there's no changes coming to the matchmaking system really. Like, I I don't know. It's not big. It's gonna be basically the same Crucible. So I don't know.
I'm nervous. I am nervous about the PvP scene. I they need to do something about it. They need to do something, and they need to be honest that they're doing something or not, and they just need
Yeah,
to tell us. That's what it comes down to. It's like either tell us you're doing something, to tell us at least tell us to expect something, or don't. Don't keep baiting us like this because it is getting a little weird.
yeah. So anyway, guys, it's been an awesome episode. That's
Thanks
about
for being here. I love you. You're beautiful.
yeah. You guys are awesome. Everybody tweet at Huffy and say, "Get well soon," and
Yeah.
just see how he responds to that. Because or good luck with your CIA mission, and just spam him and
Yeah.
blow him up, and hopefully he'll be here next week. So
One day he'll come back to us.
see you guys later. Peace.
Bye.